Now let's continue to work on the front end and the grill of our vehicle. So let's clean up the geometry a little bit and really push that in and create our actual pieces for our grill. So I want to make sure that the shape is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the side, and before I start pushing geometry in, I just want to make sure that the shape is working for us. It'll be a little bit more difficult after we go in here and add that detail if we want to change this shape. So I think that's going to work well for us. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my split polygon tool, go from this corner up to this point here, and then I'll take the tool again, go from this triangle over here to this triangle, and now let's select both of these points and let's go ahead and merge them together. And that'll give us 3 quads right here, which is just a little bit cleaner. And I'll go ahead and maybe take this line here and basically all 3 of these. Go ahead and insert one edge loop right in here, pulling it out just a little bit, maintaining that curvature. And we'll go ahead and draw that right across, and then we can take this line and draw it right down there. And then we'll just pull this point back a little bit. Get my normal move axis, just to kind of clean things up. Trying to maintain that edge though. Okay, so let's go ahead and take what's going to be the interior of our space that we have set aside for our grill and also our headlight area. There's going to be a section for a headlight. So let's go ahead and that's basically the area that we want to utilize. Okay, so make sure we don't have anything else selected. And let's go ahead and extrude that. Go to wireframe just to make sure. Let's extrude that, and let's not extrude it in yet. We'll just scale it in for now so that we get a nice rim around there. So we'll go ahead and click on my scale, and we'll just scale it in kind of like that. Okay, and if you don't get an even sort of rim all the way around, you can now take your translate and just kind of space those out just a little bit, so that you get a nice even space all the way around. Okay, and we'll just kind of move those over. Bring that all the way to the side there, just so there's a nice even. You can see where that's really thin up here, so we want to make that, give it a little bit more room to breathe. Bring that over. And right down there. Something more like that. There we go. And we'll just kind of even that up all the way around there. Okay. Now let's go ahead and again select now just the interior faces, not including the row that we've just created. So we'll go ahead and select all of those. Right there, and then again, make sure you have everything deselected that you don't want. And now let's go ahead and extrude these in. So we'll just go extrude, and this time I'm going to go to world mode and just push this kind of straight back. Okay. Alright. So we got a nice little area in there. Now what we want to do is separate the place for the headlight here as kind of a circular section that we have kind of right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just move this over just slightly. Just kind of right over here. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is take basically this point and this point, and we're going to go to Edit Mesh, Detach Component, and that's going to detach or split these vertices off. And And let's go to normal. And we'll just move these off temporarily. So you can see how these are now split. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select these two, merge them back together. Select these two, merge those back together. So I don't want them split in all four directions. I just want them split just in that one direction. So we just have a split kind of like this. Okay, and I'll pull these apart. Just pull them apart just a little bit. All right. Okay. What you can also do, rather than split these, is to simply use your split polygon tool. And for instance, I want to split these up here. You can start at that point and then just draw across here and draw down just like that. And then if you want to, you can delete those faces. And it's kind of the same effect. And you get that same sort of a little split there. I'll kind of move these out to give us a little bit more room to work with. And now what I want to do is route this edge down and around to this edge, basically. And I want to give it a nice curve shape, so let's move these out of the way. They're going to be used to connect up here, but go ahead and move these out of the way so that we can then kind of create that geometry. I'm going to select these and just merge those together. And now let's just take these two edges right here. Okay, just those two. And we'll go to Edit Mesh Bridge. And let's go ahead and just do a linear bridge, and then we can move those later. And go ahead and do a bridge, and then we can play with our divisions. So we want our divisions to match up the number of divisions here. We've got 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 will give us a nice match there. All right. And now what we can do is go to Select, Border Edge tool, double click on that border edge, and then we can fill that with geometry, and go to our Split Polygon tool and draw that in. Just connect those lines up. And now what's happened is we've routed this line across here and all the way around. So we're kind of able to create a nice space for our headlight here. We can kind of move these out a bit. And now obviously we want to reconnect this back up. So one of the things we can do is come in here and add an edge. And if we want to snap this to this point, we can just hold down when we hit W, and we can hold down the V key to snap that to a point. And then we can just merge that together. Okay, we'll do the same thing over here. This will also give us a nice, little bit of a sharper corner, which is what we want. So I'll just snap that up to that point, and I'll merge the vertices. And let's go ahead and move these points over. And you can do that. Try to do it from the front view if you want to. Okay, just kind of create a nice curve. And then let's move these points over to match that curve, so that we don't have just a straight up and down line here, but we've got sort of a nice curve that we want to use here. So go ahead and try to select all of these without getting anything in the back. And so we can make a nice, kind of a nice smooth transition here. Bring that up. And just continue to just shape this a little bit. And right now it's a little bit more up and down, but you kind of get the idea. And then you can fill this in just by going to Select, Border Edge tool, and do the same thing back here. Going to Fill, and then using our split polygon tool to draw that in. Just connect that up. Okay, and you can continue to tweak that shape. I'll probably go ahead and just shape that out a little bit more as we go. You also might want to enlarge that grill area just by grabbing some of these points and moving those over a bit. Just translating those over, just so we've got a little bit of a larger area to work with. Okay, so we'll continue. I'm just going to shape this up just slightly to get a nice shape that I like, and but that's the idea of putting it in there. Now, we'll still need to add kind of this crease up in here. So let's go ahead and look at how we can do that in the next lesson, as well as creating some insets for the wings up here along the fender. It all kind of ties together a little bit. So we'll start to do that in the next lesson.